What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Saturday Movie Night. My name's Dave McRae, coming to you, well, if you're watching this after the fact, because most of you will be, I'm not live, but at this very moment, I am live to my level 2 and 3 patrons. This is Saturday Movie Night. I'm coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. It is Saturday, November the 7th, 2020, 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I've just noticed, I'm looking at my monitors here, and I just noticed there's a bit longer of a delay on this live stream than there usually is on my live streams normally. I don't know why that is. Usually there's only about a 5 to 7 second delay. It looks like we're at like 10 to 12 seconds. So if you ask me something in the chat room and it takes me like 15 seconds to notice, that is why. But we'll do the best we can here. For those of you that may not know what Saturday Movie Night is, it is exclusive to my level 2 and 3 patrons on my Patreon once a month, usually at the end of every month, but the last few months it's been at the beginning of each month because of It's Me Billy and all the things that are going on with that. So I've been a busy dude. We watch a movie, and not we watched a movie like Mike and Jay, but we watch a movie, and it's voted on by my level 3 patrons. So once a month I put up a poll for my level 3 patrons to vote on, and we have different themes. Sometimes it's horror, it's sci-fi. This week it was Kurt Russell movies, and The Thing won out, to no surprise. I think on the list we had The Thing, we had Executive Decision, we had Escape from New York, we had Breakdown, we had Overboard. What else did we have? We had Big Trouble in Little China. And you know what? I got to admit, I mean, I love The Thing. There's room for The Thing, folks. But I was kind of pulling for one of the other movies because, you know, The Thing is so saturated. Everybody talks about it and all that kind of stuff, and I don't mind talking about it. But I was kind of pulling for like Big Trouble in Little China or Breakdown, one of my favorite Kurt Russell movies. Anyway, if you want to get in on that and that interests you, check out my Patreon. The link is in the description. And if you want to have an opportunity to vote, you have to be part of level number 3. But if you just want to join in on the action, you can be part of level number 2 as well. So it's open to my level number 2 patrons, exclusively the live show, and then it goes up on my channel for everybody to watch, and that's how you're seeing it now. Minus those who are in the chat room. We got Frank Riker in the chat. Dia Maria is here. Reese Wilson is here. Darren Sands is here. It's great to see you guys here. What are we saying? What do we got? We got Frank Riker says, I think Dave wanted Breakdown. I was kind of pulling for Breakdown. I have to admit that, or Big Trouble in Little China. Hey, Dia, how are you? Reese Wilson says, I actually would have enjoyed Breakdown too. This movie won in a landslide. It did. Yeah, it won like 60% of the votes. So, but I mean, I think it's the association, you know what I mean? And it's a horror movie. It's John Carpenter, and I get it. I totally get it. I get it. But I like the idea, though. I like the idea doing Kurt Russell, movies. Darren Sands says, I was the only one that voted Big Trouble. You were. Yes, indeed you were. Or Elvis. That's right. Was Elvis on the list? I don't think I put Elvis on the list. I don't think I did. But yeah, Big Trouble would have been cool. I haven't seen that in a while. But hey, let's get this thing rolling. So I am watching this off of YouTube, of course, because I don't own any digital media. I haven't made that transition yet. I am a physical media guy, and I probably always will be until I am forced and carried out kicking and screaming. But nonetheless, I am watching it on YouTube. The Thing, that's where I'm watching it. I have paused 2 seconds into this, so the Universal logo is just about to come up. We can see the sunrise just kind of coming up over the earth, and that is where I am. Frank Riker says, Dave's voting is more accurate than the... Yeah, what a, wow, I don't even know where to begin with that. That's, hey, well, you know what? Some people are happy today. Some people are miserable today. I've got no dog in the fight. Somebody asked me today, they sent me a message and they said, Dave, I noticed you made a few political posts this week. I thought you don't talk politics. And I said, well, I wasn't really. I mean, I made 3 posts this week. And the 3 posts were just sort of general observations. You know, I wasn't sort of rooting for either side. I wasn't, telling either side they're wrong or right. I was watching as somebody who does not have a dog in the fight and really couldn't, I was just kind of like, I just was just little things. Like I'm an inquisitive person, so I find little things, especially when it deals with the sociological aspects of human behavior. And, voting is definitely one of those things that really taps into human behavior. So just a few things I found interesting that I liked, that I posted about that had to do with what was going on. But I don't think they were political in nature necessarily, just sort of observations. But that's how I saw it anyway. But anyway, let's start this thing. All right, here we go. You guys ready? Let's do this. The Thing, 1982, directed by John Carpenter, Kurt Russell. I've told my Kurt Russell story. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dun, 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 John, John, dun, 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 John, John, dun, 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 dun. Universal up on the screen here. We are rocking this. Let me just bring this down a little lower so I can see you guys as well. Here we go. All right. It's been a microsecond since I've seen this movie. A Universal picture. Yes. Ooh. Wait a minute, is there any music? Ooh, it's a very low hum. I love it. I love that low hum. Oh, by the way, I should mention, if you're new to Saturday Movie Night, this isn't a director's commentary. I'm not the director, first of all, but it's not like I'm analyzing the movie. I always say this because I think some people have gotten the wrong impression of what Saturday Movie Night is. We watch a movie. The movie is out of my hands. It kind of sounds like it sounds very Alan Howarth, Halloween 3, just a little bit. I mean, I know it's not him, obviously. Dean Cundy, of course, is the director of photography. This is so great. I love this. I love this music. I just have to listen to this. This is so fucking great. Like, it's classic Carpenter, even though he didn't do the music. It's just, sometimes we will watch movies that I know a lot about and I can give analysis on and, trivia and stuff. And sometimes there's movies we watch that I don't know a lot about. And sometimes there's movies we watch where it's kind of half and half in between, right? So I just want to make that distinction that don't watch this, I'm not analyzing the movie from top to bottom. Saturday Movie Night is just friends hanging out, watching a movie, chatting amongst each other, and just having a good time. I forgot about this. I forgot this was the opening. That we actually see the Thing kind of ascending on Earth or whatever. I don't think that's necessary. I mean, I know why we saw it back in 1982, but I got to admit, I don't know if that's necessary. I love that opening title, though, with the lightning and shit and the Thing there. It's great. Antarctica, winter, 1982. Listen to that. What the fuck was the name of the composer's name again? He just recently died. God, he was brilliant. Boom. I love this. Boom, boom, boom. This is so great. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Yes. Yes. And of course, this movie didn't do well when it came out in 1982, and there's a variety of reasons for it. One of which, of course, it was, the big alien movie of 1982 was E.T. And, that was a positive, heartwarming family story. This is, the polar opposite of that. But The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, of course, which is a remake of The Thing from Another World or Another Planet. Another World, I think, actually, which of course is the movie you see, Tommy and Lindsay watching in the original Halloween. But this is a movie that has gone on to become a cult classic and gone on in retrospect in many viewings later to gain a bigger and better appreciation of it. Yes, that's right, Frank. Thank you. Yes. He's just recently passed, if I'm not mistaken, like a few months ago or something. It's very recent. Very, very recent. Now, obviously, it's got that Carpenter flair to it. I mean, I don't think Carpenter would have, but certainly it's great. Love it. We're at the scene here where, of course, the German Shepherd, not German. Yeah. The German Shepherd. No, German Shepherd, the Husky is, running away. Running away, my man. Let's see what you guys are saying. Dia Maria says, my husband asked if I was watching Star Trek. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, there's, yeah, that's funny. I can kind of see why. Reese Wilson says, these opening shots are gorgeous. Oh, stunning. Dean Cundy for you. Dean Cundy. I tell this all the time, but it's one of the reasons why, or I say this all the time. I say this all the time. I've told this before, I should say. When I was at the 40th anniversary Halloween convention, Dean Cundy was there. And I mean no disrespect to anybody else that was there. But out of all the people I definitely wanted to meet, it was Dean Cundy. Because you could make the argument that everybody else that was there is really just, their claim to fame, the height of their success was whatever they did in the Halloween universe. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't say that that's just a fact. Whereas Dean Cundy has gone on to become one of the greatest cinematographers, certainly in the modern era. Certainly pop culture. He hasn't won an Academy Award or anything, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But certainly he's been very successful outside of Halloween, and a lot of the Halloween alum have not. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, yes, but she was not there at the convention. So when I met Dean Cundy, it meant so much because it was like, this is not just the guy who shot Halloween. This is the guy who shot Halloween 2, Escape from New York, The Thing, The Fog, all 3 Back to the Future movies, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Jurassic Park, Apollo 13. I mean, he's a DP legend in his own right. So that's what was really cool meeting him. It was really, really cool. He was great. Huskies are beautiful dogs, says Dia Maria. Yeah, they are beautiful. And the dog is great in this movie, by the way. And if I'm not mistaken, I think in this movie, I don't know what scenes they were. I mean, obviously, probably in their building. I think they lowered the temperature to like something like 40 degrees Fahrenheit or something to that effect when they were actually shooting the movie to help give the actors that sense of Antarctic cold realism. I'm positive I read that somewhere. And that's pretty, I mean, that's pretty method right there. Because this wasn't shot in Antarctica, obviously. It was shot, damn it, I know this. Forget. Darren Sand says there's very little of more cones, right? Is it Morricones? I'm pretty sure it's something like that. Music used. Basically the main theme and a few other cues. The rest is John Carpenter and Alan Howarth. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. Fascinating. Okay, fascinating. I did not know that. So you learn something new every day. Thank you, Darren. I was under the impression that the whole thing was him. Well, it makes sense then why I'm hearing Alan Howarth in here and John Carpenter then. I was under the impression, and I've been under the impression this for quite a few years actually, that it was always him, that the entire... I should pay more attention to the credits. I usually do. I'm that guy that sits in the movie theater when the credits roll and I'm there to like the very end and the ushers come in and they're like, excuse me, sir, you're going to leave? We want to clean the theater. I'm that guy. So yeah, okay. Well, then it makes, thank you, Darren. I really appreciate that. That makes sense then why, it sounds very much like Alan Howarth and John Carpenter. Fascinating. Okay, I'm going to look more into that. That's really cool. You can count on my slaughtered lamb pals to come to the rescue. Great stuff. Reese Wilson says, I think it was either Adrienne Barbeau or Jamie Lee Curtis voicing the electronic chess game that Kurt was playing. I read that somewhere. I believe you are correct. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Adrienne Barbeau because I think Carpenter and Barbeau were together during this time, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe it was Curtis. I don't think it was Curtis. I think it was Barbeau. Slaughtered Lamb Pals, do you know? Because I think Barbeau and Carpenter they were dating here, if I'm not mistaken. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So he's credited, but it's widely known that Carpenter was in awe of him and didn't want to rock the boat by crediting himself with the score. Ah, it's widely known. Well, that widely known didn't come to this little man here in Toronto. Okay, all right. That's to be fair, I have to admit I haven't dove neck deep into the Thing lore, so I appreciate that, Darren, very, very much. Love the movie, and certainly love the subject matter and the symbolism in the film. But certainly, I was unaware of that. Okay, well, that makes sense. You know, I get it. Fascinating. Okay, all right. Of course, Kurt Russell's name in this movie, his last name is McRae. No, it's not. It's McCready, isn't it? It's pretty close. Isn't it McCready? Something like that? That's pretty close. Dia Maria says, yes, they were married. Yes, that's what I thought, especially at this time, I think. Tabitha Short is here. Hey, everyone, just tuning in. Had a long day of hosting a bridal shower for my sister. Really tired, not watching along. That's okay. No worries there. It's great that you could check in and say hello. Congratulations to your sister. That's awesome. First goddamn week of winter. Excuse me. I'm a firm believer, and we'll talk about this, of course, when we get to the end of the movie, but I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me, but it kind of does that there's a lot of people that I don't know, that there are people that don't like the ending and that wish it was more, concrete instead of ambiguous. And I think it's the ambiguity that works. It works because neither of them know if the other is infected. And therefore the sense of trust is all gone. It's gone. We don't need to, it's presumed that they will kill each other. So all this did they survive? Did they not? No, neither of them did. I mean, maybe one did, but then the other one probably got eaten by the thing anyway. So, I mean, that's why it works. Even if neither of them are infected, even at the end of the movie, if neither of them are infected, the paranoia and the hysteria will cause one of them to kill the other. That's why I tend to believe that neither of them were infected and they were the only two survivors that truly were not infected. But because they can't trust each other and there's almost no way of knowing for sure necessarily, the paranoia will cause one to kill the other. That's what I've always believed. And that's why it's a great ending. Yeah, it's ambiguous. Yeah, it kind of just ends. But I'd like to believe more mature audiences can see the value and sort of the layers of why that's so deep, why that's so impactful. It's great. Absolutely love it. That's right. Wilford Brimley. Darren, my man. Wilford Brimley is in his 40s here. Yeah. Because when he did Cocoon, he was actually made to he looks ancient in Cocoon. And I learned years ago that they actually made him look older in Cocoon, including putting aging spots on him to make him look as old as his counterparts. Because he wasn't. He was I think in Cocoon, he was 49 or 50 or something like that. He was on the cusp of 50, I think, when he did the first Cocoon. And when he did this movie, which was a few years prior, he's probably 47 here, maybe. Oh, 45. Okay, 45. 45. Yeah. Yeah, he's still, I mean, listen, Darren, you're 47, I think, right? 47. So that's 2 years younger than you. It's only 3 years older than me, or 4 years older than me, I guess. And he looks like he's about 15 years older than both of us. He's just one of those guys that is in this perpetual state of looking older. He's just one of that. Reese Wilson says, oh, right. Wow. Yeah, I pegged as being in his 60s, maybe. No, he didn't get to his 60s. He wasn't in his 60s until he was doing, I got diabetes. You got diabetes? Oh, that dog is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful dog. In case you're watching along after the fact, we are 14 minutes and 15 seconds into the movie. Yeah, this is definitely, you know what? Now that I hear it and I'm paying more attention, I've always loved the score, but I always thought it was, I always thought it sounded like that, you know, because of Carpenter's direction. Like, hey, we want this vibe, we want this sound, this tone, you know, but I wonder if anybody's called Carpenter out on that. Like, John, he's dead now. You can tell the truth. You can tell the truth. Although, yeah, I mean, John, you might be into some outstanding royalties that you weren't entitled to. Very superstition. Ow! Oh, he's doing the moonwalk. Oh, no, that's right. He's on roller skates. For a minute, I was like, oh, he's doing the moonwalk. No, he's on roller skates. Reese Wilson says, that fucking hat on Kurt looks ridiculous, and yet he is making it work. Yep. Oh, yeah. Kurt Russell is the man. Kurt Russell is the man, ladies and gentlemen. I love Kurt Russell. He's probably one of my favorite actors of all time. I mean, I don't think he's like a thespian or anything like that, but he's just one of those guys. You know, he's one of those guys that he is, I believe him in every role he's in. Like, as much as Tom Cruise gets, oh, wait. Got the dog scene here. I got to see this. This is so good. So this isn't on track. Cause, oh, well, no. Look at that. Fucking Dean Cundy, man. Good old Dean. Ah, it's so good. So subtle, so nuanced. I love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah, this photography is beautiful. What am I watching it? Am I watching it in like... Really? Why is the quality such... All right. Whatever. It looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. And Carpenter loves to shoot with that anamorphic. Yeah. It's so great. What is it? 1.38, I think. Yeah, it's good shit. It's good stuff. It's so good. Darren Sand says Biden trips over his regularly. What's going on? His age? Oh yeah, his age. Yeah. Biden is old. He's the oldest. He is set to become the oldest president. I mean, he could go at any time. Like he could, you know. I don't know. Look. I mean, I don't mean this as any. I mean, obviously, I don't have a dog in the fight, and I don't. You know, it doesn't. I just watch with great interest, and some things I see I find fascinating, like the couple of tweets I posted today. I was like, it's kind of interesting, you know, that okay. I mean, you can read my tweets on my social media. But they're generic observations that it doesn't matter where you fall politically. That's where my posts are, like, they're about the election and what's going on, but they're just general observations. So it doesn't really matter where you fall in the political aisle. I mean, you can kind of probably get what I'm saying. Yeah, this cinematography is great. Dia Maria says, John Carpenter and Dean Cundy equal dream team. Yeah, they did a lot together. Halloween 2. I mean, Carpenter didn't direct it. He directed some scenes, but of course he wrote it. He was there. So for all intents and purposes, Halloween 2, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing. Yeah, they've worked together. They worked together quite a bit. Early on, anyway. They worked together early on. Did Cundy do Big Trouble? Did Cundy do Big Trouble? Big Trouble in Little China? I don't think he did. Maybe he did, but I don't think he did. Chat room, let me know. Jason Nike is here. Jason, great to see you here, buddy. Thanks for tuning in on Saturday movie night. 235. Thank you, Darren. That's right. 235. That's right. Yeah, and sometimes that's the best. I mean, that's the amount you can fit in a frame, and oh, it's beautiful. We're doing camera tests at William F. White next Tuesday, obviously with our DP. And because of some of the spaces inside this house, we're looking at, we're shooting on the Arri Mini with master primes, and we might be going as wide as like 8mm, like an 8mm lens. Like that's how wide we might be going for some of the shots that we need. And I'm like, are you fucking, he said that to us, and I'm like, isn't that going to distort? Apparently, if you were using ultra primes, it might distort at the end, but master primes, apparently they don't. There's hardly anything at all. And I'm like, wow, that's intense. I've never seen a lens. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these lenses, which is really cool because I've never obviously seen them in person. So it'll be great. Darren Sand says Big Trouble was the last film he did with Carpenter. Okay, so it was Big Trouble. Okay, yeah. The last film he did with Carpenter. Yeah, I could see that because at that point, Carpenter was doing, you see, Cundy at that point was moving on to, and I say this with all due respect to Carpenter, of course, but by 1986, I mean, see, Big Trouble in Little China was a studio film, if I'm not mistaken, and Darren can correct me if I'm wrong, or anybody else, but I believe it was a studio film, and it was one of Carpenter's last. So like it didn't do well, and he kind of was out at that point. That's when he went off and did, Prince of Darkness and all that. Whereas Cundy at that point, I mean, he had just done Back to the Future, and Cundy was like, really high in demand and really starting to. He does Back to the Future, he does this, but then he goes off to do Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then he rolls right into Back to the Future 2. Do you know what I mean? And 3. And Cundy was like, I say this with all due respect, but outside of a couple of movies, Carpenter has been really in the B movie horror territory. I don't mean B as in bad. I just mean, not. I think Carpenter's only. It was Fox. That's what I thought. Because The Thing was studio, Big Trouble was studio as well. And by that time, Cundy was probably just, even if Cundy wanted to, they probably couldn't afford him. Or he couldn't. He couldn't. So that doesn't surprise me. Carpenter would probably have had to have done like a bigger film to get Cundy back. Because Cundy was like well on his way, man. Well on his way. Really cool. Oh yeah, They Live, Prince of Darkness. Like those were not big movies, Reese Wilson says, Fox butchered Big Trouble's marketing. Yeah. I didn't see Big Trouble until later in life. I was like 19 or 18 or something when I first saw it. And I was like, oh my God, if I had seen that back in 1986 when it came out, I think it was 86, right? I would have been all over it. It's so, I mean, it's dated now, but it kind of reminds me of like not really exactly, but it's got the same sort of vibe as like The Golden Child, with Eddie Murphy, which by the way is one of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies too. Frank Reiger says, plus John Carpenter is an angry, bitter man. He is. Yeah, Carpenter does have a lot of resentment. I mean, he's incredibly talented and obviously has a wealth of experience, but he does, he's got a lot of, he's a dick. He is a dick, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and, it's part of his character, part of his persona, and we forgive him because it's John Carpenter. If that was any other director, and there wasn't this love and this admiration and this orgasmic, drooling over John Carpenter's Halloween and what he did for horror, I don't think people would necessarily put up with it, but it's kind of like, that's just John. Oh, that's just John. No, John's a dick. He can be really nice. I mean, yes, he can. And he's a wealth of knowledge and really cool. And he's a legend and nobody can take that away from him, but he's still a dick. He's still a dick, and it's true. And he knows that. He knows that. What the fuck is he? I'm not a dick. Yeah, you are. Of course you are. You can be a nice guy, too, but you're certainly a dick. You can be an ass. This is so cool, too. We are 24 minutes 13 seconds into the movie here, we're seeing these great practical effects, this great, whatever this is, tentacles, aliens, this shit. It just looks so great. It's so great. I miss this stuff, man. I'm not convinced. I mean, obviously it's cheaper oh, look at that. That's so eerie. The two faces like melded together. You know what makes Kurt Russell in this movie? His fucking beard, man. Awesome men. There are a lot of awesome characters that have there are awesome, powerful men that have beards. Good men have beards. It's his beard. It's all in the beard. It's all in the beard. Top of the Short says, do you guys think that if you asked anyone on the street to name a movie or two that John Carpenter directed, that they would know his name? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I believe John Carpenter is well known enough that people would, not necessarily of the younger generation. I mean, I think if you were to ask somebody who's 17, not necessarily, but anybody our age and older, yes. I think if you were to say, have you ever heard of the name John Carpenter? Yes, I think people would go, yeah, isn't he like a movie filmmaker or something, whatever? And yes, I do. I do. Funny enough, I think more people would recognize the name, more of the general population would recognize the name John Carpenter over Wes Craven. I believe that. I think if you were to ask the average person on the street, they would recognize the name John Carpenter over the name Wes Craven. I think he would be known too, but I think John Carpenter would be known. The name would ring a bell for the average person more than Wes Craven, I think, would. Darren Sand says he did a bunch of studio movies in the 90s and 2000s. Invisible Man, Village of the Damned, Ghosts of Mars. Oh, that's true. That's right. That's right. Memoirs of an Invisible Man, Village of the Damned, and Ghosts of Mars. Right. He did, didn't he? Fascinating. Okay. I didn't know those were studio released. I know Memoirs were. Yes, you're right. That was. And that came. Yes. Yeah, I didn't think Village of the Damned was. You say it's Universal and Ghosts of Mars was Sony. Okay. Got to brush up on that. It's been a while since I've read about that shit. I would have said Invisible Man, yes. And I probably would have said that was his last one. Was In the Mouth of Madness? I don't think In the Mouth of Madness was. That was 94, I think, or 95 with Sam Neill. I like that movie a lot, too. Fascinating. Squeeze the... I love it, Reese. I love it. And of course, this is not a new premise in the sense of, we've seen movies like this before. Well, since, where people gather into this one location and hysteria builds because something is invading their space or their bodies and things like that. It's always a cool thing. Is it this scene I love? I think it is this scene. Yes, I think it is this scene and the dog won't go in, if I'm not mistaken. This is so great. I love this. Look at that shot of the dog. It's so good. His trainer is off camera telling him what to do. It's so well done. It's eerie, man. And all you hear is just the wind in the background, no music. Well, that's not true. There's a very slight soundscape that's mixed in with the wind. It's almost like the wind is the soundscape. I love that. Oh, that's so great. It's so great. In the Mouth of Madness was independent. Okay. All right. I stand to be corrected. I would have said that Memoirs was his last. Hey, Google, what year did Memoirs of an Invisible Man come out?
On the website youtube.com, they say, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, official trailer. Now, so Google can improve, it would help to know how satisfied you are with that answer. How would you rate it if 1's the worst and 5's the best?
1.
Thanks.
Hey, Google, what year did Memoirs of an Invisible Man come out? course, by this time, you guys will probably have told me.
The release date of Memoirs of an Invisible Man was February 28,
92?
1992.
It was 92. It was 92. Okay, so it was before... it was 92, so it was before Village... Yeah, see, I would have said Memoirs was his last studio film. I would have said that, because Village of the Damned, I think, was 95 or 96. And In the Mouth of Madness was 94, 95, somewhere around there. Ghosts of Mars was late 90s, like 98, I think. Somewhere around there, 99. That's funny. I would have said Memoirs was his last studio, because I do know that that was a studio one. Yeah, you are correct. I remember watching a documentary on that and about him and Chevy Chase and shit. But all right, I stand corrected. I got to take you guys to that church, because that church is in the GTA. That's in the Mouth of Madness. Ah, look at those tentacles and shit. That's so creepy. Good old Kurt Russell. This is a few years before, of course, he met the love of his life, Goldie Hawn. They met on the set of Overboard, 1987. Frank Reiger says, fun fact, the husky Jed was also the same dog in 1991 White Fang with Ethan Hawke. Really? Really? Well, how old was really? I didn't know that. I remember seeing White Fang. I liked that movie. And I remember, in 91, I was, 12. And I remember being so... when he was yelling at the dog at the end of the movie because he wants him to go off and be with his kind and shit. I remember feeling so sad and like, don't yell at the dog. What are you doing? It's a good movie, though. Well, that's funny because the dog must have been very young in this movie or very old in White Fang, because, I mean, that's 9 years difference. So, and these dogs, like big dogs like this only live like 10 to 12 years. So, oh, yes. I love the hybrid. You can see it. It's over. Oh my God. That's so good. Oh, it's so creepy. And this was state of the art, man. This was state of the art 1982. And this is the moment when they're like, okay, what is going on? Yeah, they're shooting everything. Of course, what would you do at that point? Oh! I bet you that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Even though you could tell it was a fake dog, I bet you that still rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Like, oh my God, he just shot a fucking dog. And it's like, no, he didn't. He didn't shoot a dog. There were no animals harmed during the making of this movie. Darren says, it's Ghosts of Mars with 2001. I forget. Oh, it was 2001. What was the one that he did in 98? Was that Vampires? There was one he did in... What one was 98? I thought there was one in 98. The husky was 12 in 91. Okay, there you go. So he was very young here. Wow, so he was still working. That's crazy. Yelling at an old dog, the poor dog. Oh my God, I forgot about all these effects. They're so great. Oh, yes. And of course, they just get better and better and better as the movie goes on here. It's so great. Jed was 17 when he died. Disney takes care of their animals. Well, I mean, that's an anomaly. I don't think huskies live that long. 17, really? Frank, do you know this off the top of your head, or are you looking this up right now? Frank is in his hot tub right now. 17. That is, I'm no dog expert, but I would think that was unusual. I was unusual. I was unusual. I am unusual. It was unusual. Here's 45-year-old Wilford Brimley, although he looks like he's, 60. He looks like he's 45. I wouldn't necessarily say he was in his 60s here, but if you told me he was in his early 50s, which I guess is not that far away, I'd believe it. 40s? Maybe, I guess, looking at it. I don't know. I'd say more in his 50s. He looks like, and I think it has to do with the receding hairline and all that. It's so great. That's so great. My dog died at 15. Oh, yeah. Big dogs can live that long. Again, I'm not saying they can't live that long, but the average age for a dog like a retriever or a shepherd or a husky, the bigger dogs, I think they tell you like it's between like 10 and 13 or something like that. It's like the average age for a cat is like, I think it's like 10 to 13 or something like that. And how many of us have had cats that have lived to like 18 or 19? Happens all the time. And if you have an indoor cat like I do, and I know some of you do here, and you have your cats, they tend to live longer because they don't get into fights or disease and all that kind of stuff. But my sister just had to put down, I say our dog because obviously, it was mine too at one point, but we had a retriever named Indy after Indiana Jones. And she just had to put him down this past February, and he was 12 and a half. So, but that's about right. 12 and a half is about right. So 17. Now, unless huskies are known to live that long, that surprises me. But who knows? What do I know? Now, isn't that the guy with the beard here? Didn't he play Stan in Stephen King's miniseries It? The guy with the beard. Is he the same guy? Or maybe I'm wrong. Where is he from? I've seen this guy before. For some reason, I thought he was Stan, the older Stan in It Chapter 2 from the 1990 miniseries, but now I don't think it is. Is it? I think it is. If this was a game show, I'd say yes, final answer. Yes, Jason Knight comes in hard into the paint. Yes. I'm right. I said final answer before that yes came up, ladies and gentlemen. What do I win? A new car. A new car. Hey, a new car. A new car, ladies and germs. Cool. I'm getting text messages here. Wow. A lot of stuff coming in. I'll look at that later. Okay. Yeah, it is something buried under the ice, motherfuckers. Clark is Stan. Frank Reiger says he was plus license. He was plus license to drive as the father. He was the dad and license to drive too. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's not, yes, I can see that now, but I wouldn't have picked that first, actually. I immediately thought of Stan from the 1990 miniseries. And I forgot, having watched that just a couple years ago, I had also forgot that Olivia Hussey was in that movie too. She was Bill's girlfriend. She's the one that is like, he has to bring back to life, so to speak, from her catatonic state. And she's all catatonic and whatever. He brings her back by riding his bike really fast in San Francisco. Dia Maria says, and the guy with the curly hair and glasses played Fox in The Warriors. Oh, The Warriors I haven't seen. I've never seen The Warriors. I know what you're thinking, Dia. What? You've never seen the... I've never seen The Warriors. I've never seen The Warriors. I know the movie you're talking about, though. Just one of those ones I never saw. Yeah, Kurt Russell, man, he knows how to rock that fucking hair. Or the hair. That hat, I should say. I think I am going to get myself a Kurt Russell hat like that. Now you can totally tell that's a matte painting, that they're not actually looking down upon that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because everything else looks so amazing that you buy into it. And they're going down there to have a look. Imagine if you saw that. Well, depends on what you read. There are a lot of people that think there is some funky things going down at Antarctica. It is pretty creepy. When you read up on some of the theories that people have and you read into some things and you go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, it's definitely is a little strange. Antarctica is sort of strange. And very little is known about it, and very little people have access to it. $100,000 years old. 100,000 years old. Frank, it's the Millennium Falcon. It is. They're on Hoth right here, folks. This is actually Hoth. And they are, they're on Hoth here. Jason Nike says, hey, Dave, the Tony Michael troll came in my chat a couple of weeks ago. I think I made it as a content creator. Congratulations, Jason. Congratulations. Yeah, I don't understand. It's just, it's the same guy. It's the same guy. It's one guy doing all of it. And it's probably Devante. You know, he's obviously mentally ill. I mean, you know. It's Keith David, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. I forgot he was in this. Oh, yeah, no, of course, because he's the guy at the end. Yeah, that's right. Good old Keith David. Whenever I see this guy, I always think of two movies. I think of House Sitter with Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn. Do you know that comedy? House Sitter with Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn, and he plays Steve Martin's dad. And I think of him as the president of the United States in, is it Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford? I think that's the one where he plays the president. And I, whenever I see him, I think of funny enough, I don't think of The Thing. And it's weird because he's such a big part of this movie, but I think of more of those other two films. It's great, though. Look at that technology. Look at this technology. Great cast in this film. Yeah, there is a great cast in this film. It's a great movie. But I can certainly see why in 1982 it just didn't resonate, especially when you have the polar opposite. Like E.T. was a juggernaut. And it was positive. It was Spielberg, you know, it was Spielberg, and it was Spielberg in his prime, and it became the highest grossing movie of all time. One of the highest grossing movies of all time, obviously. I think actually E.T. did do it, I think. It was one of them. You have to excuse my eyes. It's just tired. And E.T. or The Thing was, I think if The Thing had come out 10 years later, like 92, 90, I think it would have done better. I think that would have been like the prime sort of year for them, I think. Reese Wilson says, looks like Asteroids game or Pong. That takes me back. Yeah. Oh, and Wilford Brimley knows the truth. He knows there's no hope for them. Yeah, come on, bitch. in a minute, Doc. You know what I ordered off of eBay? I bought a This Christmas album right here. Let me show it to you. All right. This Christmas album I ordered off of eBay. I know this has nothing to do with the thing, but I noticed it over there. This is what was played in my house when I was a kid. And every time I hear this, it brings me back to being a kid. This is the Ray Conniff and the Ray Conniff Singers. We Wish You a Merry Christmas. This is an album from 1962. And this instantaneously brings me back. This is my childhood at Christmas, all through the 80s and even the early 90s. I think of this. This was played, and it was played before I was born as well. And when my brothers and my sister think of Christmas and being a kid and Santa and, tree and the gifts and mom and dad and family and milk and cookies and the whole thing, this is what we think of. Even they think of this too. It was played from the get-go. I'm pretty sure my dad probably purchased the album in 1962. Now, this isn't our copy, but I went on eBay and I searched for this record. And you can get the same record with a different album cover, but this is the one. This is the one that was on our shelf. And I don't know what happened to the original. Maybe my sister, not my older sister, but my younger half-sister, who lives out in Halifax, Nova Scotia, maybe she has it. I don't know. But crazy. And I also ordered another one. I ordered Gene Autry's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer as well, because that was a big staple in our family. And I ordered the one with the album cover that was on our shelf. I should say. So anyway, I saw that over there and I was like, I want to show you guys that.
What does that have to do with the thing, Dave? Huh?
Nothing. Darren Sand says, Dave, you should check out Possessor, a Canadian movie directed by Cronenberg's son. Came out for rental this weekend. Great stuff. You'll enjoy it for sure. Possessor. Ooh, I like it, Darren. I like it. Okay, I will definitely check it out. Let me see here. 2020 film, yeah. Brandon Cronenberg. Ooh. An elite corporate assassin takes control of other people's bodies using brain implant technology to execute high-profile targets. Ooh, Brandon Cronenberg. Oh my God, he looks so eccentric. He kind of looks like his father a little bit. He looks a lot like his dad, actually. Well, his dad he's not dead. His dad is eccentric too, and a little bit. I don't mean like flamboyant, but a little eccentric. Okay, cool. Oh, he's my age. Well, he's a year younger, 40. Went to Ryerson. That's a great school here in Toronto. Okay, I will definitely check that out. Went to Ryerson University, which is a really good school here in Canada. I wonder what he took. I wonder if he took like film or anything. Ryerson's the school that, I think it's the school that Victoria, our lead that's playing Sam, she went to, and she took theater or theater art or what was the acting conservatory program, whatever that is there. That's what she took. But yeah, because you don't know. Like at this point, you're not even sure. Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, I remember. Yes. That's so freaky. And they're going to have to light him on fire. They have to. At this point, you have no choice. And the reality is beginning to set in. Oh, my God. Imagine having to do that. My God, what was happening to him? Fun fact, E.T. made $792,910,554 in 1982, followed by Rocky III with $270 million, which is a pretty big gap between the two. Oh, yeah. Yeah, E.T., I believe, at that time became the highest grossing movie of all time. And then I believe it was eclipsed by Jurassic Park in 93, and then Titanic in 97, 98, and then, of course, Avatar in 09, and then, Endgame. But yeah, 93% on, okay. Darren, I mean, you've sold me, man. I'll make sure to check it out. Possessor. Is it on, will I have to rent it, or is it on Netflix or VOD right now? I'll rent it. It's not a big deal. Nope. Got to put more of my straight vodka in here. Shit's about to get real. Yeah, can you imagine like seeing that, coming out and seeing that, and that image of him with his hands and him going like that? I remember that as a kid. It's crazy. Rocky 3 is awesome. I love it. Rocky 3's, yeah. I mean, Rocky 3 is the movie though where it starts to get a little cartoony. And it's good. Like I love the only Rocky movie I don't like, and I like aspects of it. I really love the song by Elton John at the end of Rocky 5, The Measure of a Man. I love that song. And there are aspects of Rocky 5 that I like, but overall I think it's the worst Rocky movie. I think the most fun to watch is Rocky 4. Because it's just, it's us versus them, and it's all about redemption, and, Rocky's the one that brings an end to the Cold War. Like, it's absolutely absurd, but it's a fun one to watch. Rocky 3 is fun for the same reasons, but a bit different. But 3 is definitely where the cartooniness begins to seep in. Rocky 2 is still relatively believable. Seems legit. Like, oh yeah, he's going to have a rematch. Makes sense. And he's going to win. Or, he wins. Yeah. First Rocky's great though, because it's not about boxing. It's about Adrian and Rocky. You could have used any sport, but it's the heart. That's why to this day, I still think the best ending to the Rocky franchise is Rocky Balboa. Because it ends with Rocky and Adrian. And I know Creed and Creed 2 ended it again and again in a relatively decent way with his son. Or not Creed. Creed kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger, I guess, with Rocky's health. But Creed 2, I know, ends with him going home to his son. It's like, okay, fine. And that's it. I don't want to see Rocky again. I don't want to see it. He's in Philadelphia. He's with his son. He's going to live out his days there. Just leave it be. Leave it fucking be. But in my opinion, the best ending was Rocky Balboa when he's at her gravestone and he's like, yo, Adrian, we did it. And he walks off and he fades off into the distance, and that's it. Because it was always about them. It brings it full circle back to them. It was always about Rocky and Adrian. And it's a sad ending, but it's a meaningful one. And so that's what I think anyway, but I just don't want to see more Rocky. Like, enough. I know they're wanting to do a Creed 3, and it's like, fuck. Oh, yeah, that's right, because they're not even sure that it's... Oh, this is Wilford Brimley. That's right. Brimley getting all brimmed. What the fuck does that mean? I have no idea. Darren Sand says, it's for rental, I guess, on all platforms. Make sure it's the uncut version. It makes a difference. Okay. All right. Will do. Reese Wilson says, the Bennings scream is very Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Oh, yeah. Very similar. I agree. Frank Reiger says, Dave, would you be able to handle the cold as an actor, or do you like the heat? I would say that the cold is always better. I've never had to, most of my on-camera acting experience comes very early on in the 2000s. And that's how I began. I began pursuing a career as an on-camera actor, and I did some docudramas and some docudramas and a few commercials and things like that. So I never, and then of course, the whole teeth thing happened and I switched over to the voiceover and kind of went that way. So I've never been in a position where I've had to deal with that. Having said that, I think I would rather deal with cold than heat. And I admit it comes from the same place that I think of, what would you rather have at nighttime? Would you rather have no central air and it be really, really hot? Or, and I'm like, no, I would rather be really cold because I can always put more layers on and blankets on to the point where I eventually will get warm. I can't do that with heat. With heat, you can't, you can strip down to being naked, and if you're lying and it's still hot, it's like you can't strip your skin off. So I've always been of the mindset of, no, I'd rather it be cold and put more layers on. That's what I would rather. And if it was a scene where I had to not have a lot of layers on and it be cold, well, I still would rather it cold. I think. I don't know though. I guess it depends, right? I guess it depends on, am I directing the movie and I can put a lot of shit on and just kind of be there? Or am I in the movie where I have to take a lot of shit off? I don't know. Jason Knight says, Rocky 3 has great character moments. It does. Yep. Definitely progresses the characters forward, for sure. Why don't you come over here? What the hell does Mr. T say? Something like, I'll show you a real man. So great. Jason says, I agree, Dave, about Rocky Balboa. Yeah. I think it's the perfect ending because it brings it back to Rocky and Adrian. And look, the ending of Creed 2 is fine. Okay. I mean, if you're going to end him with anybody, you go to his son, and that's nice, but that's okay. That's it now. That's it. No more. I don't want to see Creed 3 and Rocky's back. Fuck that. Stop bringing Rocky in. If Creed can't live on his own without Rocky, then what are we here? And I don't even think there needs to be a Creed 3. Like I said, I think they peaked too soon. I mean, avenging his father's death by fighting Drago's son should have been the peak of Creed's career. Well, they did that in Creed 2. So what is he going to do in Creed 3? How much higher can the stakes be? The only thing I can think of is that maybe his wife gets killed, or I don't know, something lame. I don't know. I just think Creed 2 was the ultimate Creed story. I don't think Creed 2 is necessarily a masterpiece or anything, but I think in terms of the story, that's it. That's the pinnacle of this Adonis Creed. You don't need any more. So how do we know who's human? That's it. This is them providing some exposition now in case the audience is falling behind. A blood serum test. Yes. I'm always up for a blood serum test, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get the blood serum test in there. Frank Riker says, do not take Wilford's oats. True. Dia Maria says, I want us to watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers one day. That would be a good Saturday movie night. I could not agree more. I've had it on the list a couple of times, not recently, but a couple of times I had it on the list. But it was never picked. I think it's, now some of you guys know this for sure, but I think it's one that not a lot of people know about or have seen. I would love to watch it. And I guess I could just pick it, but the whole point of Saturday movie night is to have you guys pick. Right, the blood is dripping. I'm thinking about too. As we move into 2020, I'm thinking about making. I'll make an announcement about this on Patreon, but I'm thinking about because I think it would be kind of cool. Is if people feel comfortable, and you certainly don't have to join in, you can just watch, you don't have to join in on camera or anything, but I'm thinking about giving an option for either Patreon only AMAs, doing it as like a Zoom link. And then you guys can access the Zoom link and we can come on together. And it's not something that would be posted or anything like that. It would just be for us. But I'm thinking about about doing that. And then we can all sort of be on Zoom together and see each other and talk in real time. Now, I know that's not necessarily an attractive thing for everybody. Some people are camera shy, don't want to be on camera, and that's okay too. You can join us, not be on camera, and just watch. That you can do that too. But I know that might be of interest for some. So I'm thinking about making that as an option, just seeing how it goes, see if anybody flies and you know, or if it flies, I should say, and you know, and maybe that becomes a regular thing. You know, maybe we can even do that for Saturday movie nights or something like that. Or, you know, maybe it becomes a regular thing to kind of make it more interactive that way. Just something that I'm thinking about for 2020, because I want to let you guys know that I'm thinking about this and thinking about how to sort of keep evolving, you know, the things we're doing here on the channel and making it more interactive and whatnot. But I am aware, of course, like I said, that, you know, there might be some people are like, oh, that'd be great, but oh, I'm a little camera shy. I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? So I do understand that. It's just optional. You know, you certainly don't have to come on camera. You'd still get the link and, you know, be able to join. But I think it might be kind of fun. Or maybe we try it out. We do like a test one, you know, we kind of see what it's like, you know. But it might be kind of fun for Patreon only stuff, or even Saturday movie night, where we're all like, we can see each other and we're watching the movie together and we can talk to each other. And I think that might be kind of fun. I don't know. Dia Maria says, I like the idea. Oh, I like that idea. I'm down, Dave. I'm down. And great. That's perfect. Darren says, sounds good. Yeah, I think that'd be cool too. Yeah, because I want to sort of evolve it and make it more interactive. I think that'd be kind of fun. And I can always, like, there's two options. Of course, you guys would have to be okay with it. Everybody would have to be okay with it. I can, like, for the Patreon only AMAs, they don't get put up on my channel for everybody to see, but Saturday movie nights do. So we can record it, like I can record it on Zoom and then post it afterwards if you guys are okay with that. Or if you're not okay with that and you don't want your face out there, that's okay too. I just won't post it then. Then Saturday movie nights will then become sort of a private thing, you know, at that time. So, you know, there's lots of things to work around and work through and get your feedback on and all that kind of stuff. And I'll probably put out like a poll or a questionnaire later in the year, maybe early next year, maybe later, maybe in December or something, just kind of asking your thoughts, what you would feel comfortable with, what you wouldn't feel comfortable with, all that kind of stuff. You know, just want to make things a little more fun and interactive. I think it'd be kind of fun. Frank Riker says, clothing optional, Dave? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you want to get naked? Let's get naked. It's all right. Frank will be doing it from his hot tub, ladies and gentlemen. Frank will be doing it from his hot tub. Darren Sand says, I'm down with it too. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I think it'd be fun. I'll put out the questionnaire later this year, you know, just to get everybody's feedback, and then we'll kind of see where we're all at. Maybe there's a happy medium, you know, we can do it, but not, you know what I mean? There's a storm hitting you in 6 hours. You're damn right there, McCready. It's like McRae, but with a little more Edie. It's McCready. He's got a beard. It's a good beard. I should grow my beard out like that. I should grow like a full-fledged Kurt Russell, The Thing beard. They all have beards. Well, most of them do. No, yeah. Because I guess that's what you do. I guess that's what you do when you're up there, right? And it helps keep your face warm too, especially when you're dealing with Antarctic temperatures. Darren, Saturday nudie night. I love it. That's so funny. And Dia says, I have a lot of explaining to do with my husband. Yeah, we'll all have a lot of explaining to do. Oh, it's okay. It's good. It's fine. It's okay. It's chill. It's good. Don't worry about it. It's good. It's chill. I love it. Tabitha, isn't every Saturday movie night nudie night? That's funny. Jason says, I did a 7-hour stream on Devil's Night with 4 others. Wow, 7 hours, Jason. You're committed, my man. You're committed. You're going hard into the paint. that, excuse me, that is a certain level of commitment there. That, yeah, that's intense. This is great camera movement here as well. I'm at, where are we? An hour and 4 minutes into the movie, and the camera's moving as Kurt Russell's speaking to the tape recorder, and then just settles there. Got some nice accented blue light on the right over there. It gives us a nice cold kind of vibe. Remember those tape recorders? That was how I started on a tape recorder like that, recording my voice and making funny voices and all that kind of shit in the 1980s. And I used to record my voice on that. And then my sister came home with a General Electric kids one. There was a kids one because I was using my mom's all the time. And I was always taking it. So my sister Jill came home. I think I've told this story. This has got to be like, 86 maybe, something like that. And my sister came home. I had an earache or something, and I was sick. And my sister came home, and she gave me it was called a kid quarter or a kid's quarter, I think. And it looked exactly like that, but it was yellow, red, and blue. You know what I mean? All the or the prime colors for the being a kid's thing. And it worked. It worked. It was legit. It wasn't like crappy or anything like that. And I had that for about, I want to say like, 4 years, something like that. And then as I turned 13, I graduated to a proper ghetto blaster. Ghetto blaster. Look at that blue light there. Now that's some serious blue light, folks. And that's just ambient light in the room. Like, that's not coming from the moon. That is whatever light is on in the, how could you not see them? They're right there. Okay, now maybe this is coming from the moon. Maybe it is. Maybe it's supposed to be a little bit of here, a little bit of both, maybe. But certainly being outside here and having it cast over like that, yeah, you can get that. You can get the moonlight there. For It's Me, Billy, we are, that's one of the things we'll be discussing this Tuesday at the camera test is talking about the lighting setup in terms of the nighttime shoot. Because the nighttime shoot is going to be the most intense. Because we're shooting overnights. And we're shooting overnights for, I think, 4 nights in a row. We're shooting overnights. Yeah, and when he finds McCready's thing, like that's when they think, yeah, that adds the suspicion there. And he starts to think that, well, this is, and I don't believe it. I don't believe that Kurt Russell or Keith David, because it's Keith David that's the last remaining one with him, right? I think. I don't believe either of them have it. And I think that's the point. It's the paranoia. I don't think either of them have it. Unless there's something I'm missing and I'm forgetting. But I really don't think they do. Fucking hat, man. I want to rock that hat. I want that hat. Frank Greger says, I'll shave my dog for it. What's going on? Oh, you guys are hilarious. Saturday nudie night. I love it. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. They're keeping him out there. Look at the noose that's there, too. You don't know, man. Brimley. He's 45. Wilford Brimley is 45 years old. Look at him right now. He looks like he's 61. In that shot right there, he looks like he's 60. Even though in the earlier shots, he looks more like in his 50s. It's crazy. The fucking news. and no one cares. It's true. I've been let loose from the noose. Been hanging around. How's that go? It's Hell's Bells. Let loose from the noose. It's a good track. Hell's Bells is a great track. There's not one. Hey, Darren, did you hear the first minute of AC/DC's Demon Fire? They released the first minute of it. I mean, it sounds great. Sounds great. It sounds AC/DC, you know, but it sounds, I'm like, yeah, oh yeah. I'm picking up that album on November 13th. I think it's November 13th when it comes out. I loved it. Of course, when I watched the music video for Shot in the Dark, I did notice Angus doing his little duck walk. He's looking a little slow now. He's starting now, finally, at like 65 years old. He's finally starting to look like an older man playing guitar, doing the duck walk. He still could do it, and he still pulled it off, and it looks fine. But I noticed oh, it's Back in Black? I thought it was Hell's Bells. Let loose from the... Oh, yeah, you're right. It is Back in Black. That's right. Yes, you're right. It is Back in Black. That's right. Back in Black. I had to be back. Yes, I'm let loose from the noose. Singing around. Yep. You're right. Yep. You are right. Back in Black. And yes, I did. I figured you did. Yeah, it sounds great. Brian Johnson sounds like fucking, I mean, who knows how much, you know. I mean, he can sing like that, and maybe he had a little bit of help with some auto-tune if he was off a little bit. Who knows? But he sounds fantastic. And, but yeah, it was like, Back in Black, Dave. Come on. You're right. I was listening to Hell's Bells the other day. That's why it was in my head. But you're right. It is Back in Black. Yeah. The fuck was I saying now? I forget. Oh, right. The duck and the guitar. Yeah, he's starting to look just a little old now. Just a little bit. Darren Sand says he's not match fit at the moment. He'll be fine when it comes to touring. Oh, well, that's true too. That is true too. It is just a music video. And yeah, that's a good point. It will be very interesting to see what he looks like and how much he's bringing it when if they end up going on tour, which I believe they will. And hopefully I'll get a chance to see them. Because I've only seen them once, and it was their Stiff Upper Lip tour, which I loved. I was 14 rows from the stage. It was great. My dad was able to get me tickets. Those were some of the perks of having my dad as my dad. But yeah, yeah, he looks a little slow in the music video. But you're right. It's a fair point. We'll see how we'll see what he's like with the energy of the crowd, and it's a very controlled environment. There's stops and starts, and action and cut and things like that. So it's not really the best litmus test, I guess, for what he's like now. That's a fair point. Yeah, it'll be great to see what he's like on stage. But I love the sound of Demon Fire, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the what's that name of that track, through the shades of time, or through the something of time. And it's like a thing to Malcolm. Well, the whole thing is a thing to Malcolm, but I think that song is too. I'm looking forward to hearing that one. Something through the something of time. I'm looking forward to that.
Hell's Bells. Back in Black. I'm glad to be back. Yes, I'm let loose from a dose.
It's great. And everybody thinks it's him. They think he is. And why wouldn't you at this point? But he's not. He's not. If they ever remade the thing again, which I know they've talked about doing, and actually being more true to the book, I actually hope that it doesn't go studio. Like, I mean, like big. Like it's supposed, I think if you go small, you could make a chilling, frightening paranoia film. I really do. Because that's essentially what The Thing is. I mean, there's a lot of things that weren't included. Oh, yeah. Wait. I think I remember this part. Again, it's been like it's been about 2 years since I've watched this. Or no, 2 years? A year and a half, I think. Forgot about this part. Yeah. That's what The Thing is essentially. It's a movie about paranoia. And that's why the movie ends on the cliffhanger, so to speak, that it does, because it's drawing its conclusion and your attention to that idea. That what do? You know? It's crazy. And I think this kind of a movie would be best served as a smaller film, you know, an independent production, like total pro, like total legit. I mean, I don't mean it's like a B movie or not that B movies aren't, but I mean like B movies today. B movies like 40 years ago were like this. I mean, this is a B movie. Well, it's a studio film, but I mean, it's, you know, today B movies are, you know, you can notice a difference. But anyway, the point I'm making is that I would like to see it on a smaller scale because I think you can pay more attention to the nuances in the story. Oh! Yes. I knew it was coming and I just was paying attention and I'm like, oh, yes. Yes, I remember this now. Yeah, this is like the classic image that you see whenever you look at like The Thing and you think of things about and you look up shit about The Thing. It's this image right here. Oh, that's so well done. It's so good. But you know what? I can understand why it wouldn't. It still looks, well, because it is real. I mean, it's actually there. Look at that. That's so good. Of course, he was very expendable, this character. So this is so good. I love it. But yeah, when you get to the ending of the movie, I mean, that's what it's all about, you know? Brings it home, that paranoia. Are you? Am I? What do we do? Yes. Oh, it's so creepy. I love it. I love it. It's so good. This guy always reminds me of Jimmy from Halloween 2. Can you imagine being in that environment and actually seeing that? See, I think this is all through these scenes that they shot, I think it's really 40 degrees. I love how it's just like moving out of the room. You know, it'd be a great night of sci-fi horror if you want to have a marathon. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 78. The Thing, 82. Aliens. Fuck, man, that's a good marathon right there. The Abyss. Throw The Abyss in there. I love The Abyss. The Abyss is great. Spiderhead. Yeah, I know. It's great. It's so good. Like, the practical effects were so great. Look how young Keith David looks. Damn, does he look young here. He means it. I guess you do. Yes. It's so great. Darren says he's not. Oh, yeah, I read that. Darren says the tour will be very limited, around about 60 dates globally, I'm hearing from my buddy at Live Nation. Oh, okay. Brian needs around 3 days. Brian needs around 3 days break between gigs. He's 73. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. And 60 dates is not a lot. Still quite a bit, though. I wonder if there'll be a Canadian date. If there is a Canadian date, it's likely to be 2, and they'll probably do Vancouver and Toronto. And if they just do 1, it'll probably be Toronto. And that's likely, that's generally what happens because it's the most populous area of the country. So generally when people come to Canada, it's to perform, they'll come to Toronto. If they're only doing one stop, they'll go to Toronto. But who knows? Maybe not. I mean, maybe they'll go to Vancouver. I don't know. But that's what you're hearing. Okay, cool. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, even if they came to Buffalo, I mean, I don't know if they've come to Buffalo. No offense to those who live in Buffalo, but I'm just mean in terms of the market, it's not a, but then again, if you go to Buffalo, you get Buffalo and you get people from Toronto. But then again, depending on what happens with COVID and are the borders open, and it's a fucking shit show. But hopefully I'll get a chance to see them because I have a feeling this could be it. Although they're still 3 years away from celebrating 50 years, 1973 is officially when they formed, but obviously it wasn't until the later 70s really when they started to really propel themselves forward. But certainly if you want to get, technical, when they were established, it was 1973. So, in 3 more years, it's 50 years. This may be kind of like their 50th world, either 50 years kind of tour. And even if it's not officially, I mean, this might be it. I mean, this could be it. And I really hope that if Brian Johnson either goes first or can't because of how, if Brian Johnson has to stop at any point, I know he had to stop because of his hearing, supposedly, on the Rocker Bus Tour. And I get that Angus wanted to finish the tour. And as much as Axl Rose was able to do it, it's not AC/DC, man. Like, it's not AC/DC. And I hope that if Brian Johnson has to call it quits for whatever reason after this, Angus just hangs it up. I don't think he will. I think he's obsessed. And I think he's not obsessed. I think he's, I don't know, maybe he will now. I don't know. But I hope he does. I hope he does. Just, you've done it, 17 albums, 50 years for all intents and purposes. Great music. You're 65. Dude, enjoy the rest of your life, man. But then again, this is their life. This is what they know. This is what they do. This is all they know. And just because he's 65 doesn't mean he doesn't like rocking out, but I don't know. And I'm okay with them continuing to do little shit here and there if it's with Brian Johnson. But I don't want to see like AC/DC with Axl Rose. And no, that was a temporary thing to complete a fucking tour. That's how I feel about it anyway. Jason says, gotta go, guys. Vincent DeSante is coming on my show at 10:30 p.m. tonight. Gotta prep. Great stuff. Good luck with it. Good luck with it. Say hi to Vince for me. He's a great dude. Love Vince. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, I got that already. Spiderhead. So true. Reese Wilson says, originally Carpenter wanted a lot more of his frequent actors for this movie, like Tom Atkins, Charles Cyphers, etc., but the producers convinced him to look outside the circle. Good choice. I agree. I mean, I love that too, when it's like, oh, you discover that he's part of it. I love it. Oh, yes, I've always loved that look. I've always loved that. I love this. It's so great. And I'm laughing not because but it's just so great. And they're sitting right beside him. He's like going like crazy. I love it. He's in shock. He's in shock. He can't even. Oh! 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 He's like, yes! Oh, man! I love it. And Reese, thanks for saying that, because I recall hearing something about that, and I agree. I'm glad he did as well. I can understand, you know, as a director, and I mean, even myself and Bruce, we haven't yet worked on set with Victoria Shelby or Malika, but we love their energy. We love their passion. They're so extraordinarily talented that even myself and Bruce have had casual conversations about what other movies we could write where we could get them in, because they're so good. So I certainly can understand the, you know, you build a relationship, you build trust, you know, fucking this guy gets blown to smithereens, you know, and there's nothing wrong with working with the same people, but it is always good that every once in a while to step out of your comfort zone and work with other people as well. I think that's good for your career as a filmmaker and as a director, because it shows that you are able to work with other people. You are able to direct other individuals as well. That's important. It's important. It's absolutely important. So I agree. I think this was a good idea. Now, obviously, he had worked with Kurt Russell before, but it's great to see the others here, and he did a great job. But you're right. Yeah, because he used Cyphers, of course, in Halloween, Cyphers in The Fog, Atkins in Halloween, Halloween 3, Atkins in The Fog. And this was shortly after. And wasn't Cyphers... Yeah, okay, yeah. Get me out of here. Cut him loose. Cut him loose. Come on. Come on. Darren Sand says, it wasn't AC/DC, but it was amazing to see Axl front that band. He convinced them to play songs I haven't played for 40 years. He really did them proud, and I'm not a fan of Axl. I agree. I think he did a really good job. And you're right. They did play a few songs they haven't played in a long time. And I think I think that's also because yeah, I love that. I love how he gets so fucking angry there. I wish they would play more of, I mean, listen, I understand that certain Bon Scott songs, you know, are Bon Scott songs. And sometimes it's difficult for Brian Johnson and now especially to hit certain notes. And, you know, some songs are not as friendly and not as concert friendly. You know, you have your staples like your Back in Black, your Highway to Hell, Whole Lotta Rosie, TNT, you know, Hell's Bells, you know, Money Talks, Thunderstruck. I mean, there's a concert list. There's a song list that they go through, and I get it. But there's a lot of AC/DC songs, like on my tweet a couple of days ago where I said, like, I want to hear Stiff Upper Lip. Like, now when they were on the Stiff Upper Lip tour, they played it. I love Stiff Upper Lip. I love That's the Way I Want My Rock and Roll. I love Who Made Who. They never fucking play Who Made Who. Never. I would love that. I would love to hear them play Big Gun. I think they don't play Big Gun because of copyright issues, obviously, because of The Last Action Hero and shit. But that's a song I'd love to hear them play. I'd love to hear them play Soul Stripper, although that is very much a Bon Scott song. And maybe not really, you know, favoring Brian Johnson's vocals. Jailbreak. I'd love to hear them play Jailbreak again. I love that song. You know, there's a lot of songs, especially That's the Way I Want My Rock and Roll and Who Made Who. I think Who Made Who is fucking amazing. And never. I never hear it on the radio. Never. It's always the staples. Always the same. And even then, it's always She Shook Me All Night Long. It's like, you can play something else, please? Like, I love She Shook Me All Night Long. It's a great tune. And I understand why it's played, because it's one of those ones that it's an anthem-y song. People know it. You know, it appeals to a broad, you know, group of people. But AC/DC's got some fucking rockin' songs, man, that are hardly ever played, and that, you're right, they don't play on tour. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I thought Axl did fine. I thought he did a good job to close out the stuff, though. But it's not AC. It's not Brian Johnson. You know, it sounds like Axl Rose. You know, he's so like up there, and it was good, but yeah, it was a little strange too. Frank Ruger says, Dave, call Tim Burton and tell him the same thing, please, about using other actors. Yeah, Tim Burton does use a lot of the same actors. You are right on that. He does. Yeah. But so does Rob Zombie, but I don't give a shit about Rob Zombie's movies. This sounds like the beginning of a track from Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers here. If you want to know what track I'm talking about, go to an hour and 29 minutes and 50 seconds. It's that bum 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 bum. There's a fucking track on the soundtrack for Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, that begins, I'm pretty sure, the exact same way. By this point, though, it would have gone into something like would have actually extended, but. Love it. I love that the lights outside as well. You can see that it's not, this isn't supposed to be moonlight, because the lights on their station are lit by daylight balance, little lights there. And that's I like that, because this is too concentrated to be moonlight. Yeah, see the lights there? The lights that are coming on off? It's lighting balance, sort of cold kind of vibe, and I like that. Yeah, it's not moonlight. It's too focused. There's like hot spots on walls and shit. And it's too blue. It's too blue. Moonlight's not that blue. Moonlight's like a pale whitish blue. Can't let the thing freeze again. You're damn right on that. Darren says, there's very little score in this movie. You're right, there is. But what there is really good. It's really good. I'm going to look into that thing we were talking about at the beginning there with in regards to John Carpenter and the score, and how he didn't want to, I get it. I understand it. But wouldn't he, though? I mean, yeah. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Yes, yes. They're lighting shit up, folks. It's such a good movie. And, watching this again, I mean, obviously I've seen it a ton of times, but watching this again, it reminds me how much not that I'm saying anything you don't know, but again, it really is that survival and that paranoia, and what would you do in this kind of a situation, and that is what the movie, it's not about the aliens. It's not about, I mean, yes, it is from a certain point of view. It's fun to watch all these practical effects and people's heads exploding and blood and necks ripped apart. Yeah, it's great. It's great stuff. And the practical effects are great. And they hold up today. They look great today. It's amazing. But the story and the foundation of what this movie's really about, and these characters and what they're dealing with, is so much deeper than that. And it's why I've never been bothered by the ending. It always astounds me, people who don't like the ending. I'm like, don't you get it though? Like, don't you get it that, and again, it's my opinion, but I don't think either of them have it. And I know I've said this throughout the show, but I want to say it again. I don't think At the end, either of them have it, but they don't know that of each other. And it's the paranoia and hysteria that will kill them. And I think that's sort of that's what's cool. I mean, you can look at it another way and you could absolutely say, no, I think McCready's got it, or, whatever. Okay. But I think it's cool to think of it that way, in the way that I'm talking about personally. Let me see here. Reese Wilson says, I love their commitment to destroying the thing, even though it will mean they will likely die in the cold. Yeah, exactly. Or kill each other because they're not convinced. Yeah, I agree. Darren Sand says, this all-male cast wouldn't ride in a remake. Give it to Paul Feig to fuck. I like Paul Feig as a director. And to be fair, I didn't yes, the 2016 Ghostbusters was not, but I didn't think it was as bad as people made. It certainly was not as bad as the trailers made it seem. I enjoyed it. I laughed. I didn't like what they did with the legacy actors. I think that was stupid. They just should have been playing themselves. But I certainly thought that there was a lot of potential. It just was not, you know what I mean? And I like the actors. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was a colossal, failure. But I do think the idea in and of itself was probably a colossal failure. Having said that, I enjoyed The Heat. Paul Feig did that. I enjoyed Bridesmaids. He did that. I quite enjoyed that one he did with Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. What the hell was that one? I quite enjoyed that one too. I enjoyed Spy with Melissa McCarthy. I think that's arguably her funniest movie. So I've actually quite enjoyed most of Paul Feig's films. But I get what you're saying, 100%. What a way to go. I always thought he should have gone out a bit. Yeah. I always thought maybe he could have gone out a bit better. But, whatever. But you're right, Darren. Yeah, no, it's true. It probably wouldn't. But you see, if you understand what it's really about, then, I know you're probably, being a little facetious, but I think that it's really, you got to sell this as, it's like a psychological thriller. Not necessarily this movie per se. There's psychological aspects to it. But if you were to remake The Thing, remaking it as a psychological thriller. Oh, am I still live here? What's going on? Oh, I am still on. Things are a little... Am I still on? Can you guys hear me? It says I'm still on, but things are a little wonky. It says I'm still on. Just want to make sure that I'm still on here. Can you see me, guys? Can you hear me okay? I'm going to wait and see if if anybody can tell me yes or no. Yep. Oh, okay. All right. Well, then we'll let it go. For some reason, I'm getting an error message. I don't know why. Well, we'll keep it going and see what happens, but I'm getting an error message. It says I'm still I'm still streaming, but there's a red bar that usually means I'm not streaming anymore. But apparently I still am, because you guys can hear me and see me. So, all right, well, we'll keep it going. I see you. Okay. Weird. This is a great effect here. Look at that mouth. Look at that teeth. Oh. So great. Oh, experiencing buffering a little bit. Okay. Okay, you may be experiencing some buffering. I don't know why. That was an epic explosion. Like an absolute epic explosion. And I love it. I love it. An absolute epic explosion. Look at that. And I love the line he says and shit. It's like the Kurt Russell version of like yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Well, not exactly, but. Where's the movie? Let's go here. There we go. Man. I love how he's looking around. It's like, did we do it? Did we do it? Did we did it? Did I do it? I love that. Like he's got the shit all over him and everything, and it's great. Love how he sits down there. I don't want to hear this. Did you kill it? Where were you? Yeah, that's what I was fucking thinking. What do you guys think? Do you think either of them have it? Do you think neither of them have it? If you think one of them is the thing, has the thing in them, who do you think it is? Ooh, yeah. That's true. Tabitha says, now you're starting to freeze sometimes. Yeah, I'm going to let it go because we're so close to the end here. I'll let it go. But that is a good observation, Darren. That's a really good observation. You can see it a little bit, but that's a good observation. That's a good observation, my man. I love, listen to that and just seeing, listen to that fucking music. Yes. John Carpenter's The Thing, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's McRae. McRae, not McRae. My name's McRae, MC. Wilford Brimley as Blair. TK Carter. TK, I wonder what TK stands for, like Trevor Curtis or whatever. I don't know. David Clennon, I guess, as Palmer. Keith David as Childs. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I've always tended to side on the side, like I said, that neither of them have it. But as Reese pointed out earlier, that it might be the paranoia or I think it was Reese that said this, like the cold is definitely going to get to them 100% if they're not saved. But if not the cold, one of them is going to kill each other because one of them is going to be too paranoid. You think both? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You know, after that whole like Childs doesn't have a lot of the or no breath, essentially. I think there's a little bit that comes out, but certainly not as much as McRae. So that's really interesting. Folks, that was John Carpenter's 1982 science fiction horror classic, The Thing, starring Kurt Russell. It is great to see you guys here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Darren, Tabitha, Reese, and Dia, and Frank, and Jason Nike was here as well. It's great that you guys could stop in and say hello and join us as well. If you're watching after the fact, thank you for watching. You guys are amazing. Don't forget, I will be back this Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for episode 90 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, where Tony and I will be watching Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Make sure you tune into that. You guys are amazing. Thank you for your continued support each and every month on this channel. I really appreciate it. I will do my best to get that questionnaire to you guys in the next, well, maybe at the beginning of December, somewhere around there, because I think that might be a nice thing to lead into 2020 with and see what you guys are thinking. Reese says, I always thought it would be great if McRae had it from the very beginning and he took